We are an inclusive spiritual community dedicated from learning from all the world religious traditions and wisdom traditions, spiritual traditions. We warmly welcome all people of all faiths, all cultures, and all lifestyles, all ages, all of it. And so welcome to our service this morning. This is our second service online. So bear with us if we have any glitches along the way, but hopefully it will be seamless. We invite you right now, especially those of you that are part of Unity, we invite you to join us in saying our one power affirmation. So you can say it there in your own homes as we say it here. And if you don't know this affirmation, you can just, we invite you to settle in your hearts and listen and see if it aligns for you. There is only one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life. God, the good, omnipotent.
So at this time, this oneness of the human family has never been more poignantly demonstrated because of the current situation with the coronavirus. And it's a time for us to connect more deeply through our interior hearts, since we cannot reach out with our hands as we go out of our homes because of social distancing. It's a time to reach out with our hearts and to connect more deeply with one another, because this demonstrates the inherent oneness of our human family in a very profound way. And we have also seen a concerted effort from individuals, organizations, governments, and nations all across the globe in alignment that is extremely rare in the history of our civilization, really, and also very unprecedented in terms of some of the steps that are being taken. So this is an opportunity for us to really work with that inherent oneness inwardly and to recognize that we are here also in alignment with this higher power, whether we call it God or Dharmakaya or the Tao or the Great Spirit or the Divine Mother or the Goddess, or just simply universal love or cosmic consciousness. There is this larger power of spirit that moves through us. And this is a time for us to be connecting ever more deeply with that spirit.
So as we move into this time together, we're going to have the amazing inspirational talk from Dr. Karambu Ringera. If you look on your screen there, if you're on Zoom, you'll see her here. As we move into our time before we start our talk, I just want to say that we have moved totally online at this point, as many organizations have, and we welcome you to our online classes. So tomorrow night we have our Monday night meditation and spiritual inquiry and Sangha. It is time where we'll meditate and pray together. It's also a time where we focus on the wisdom traditions of the different faiths and spiritual traditions. We dive into quantum physics. Don't let that scare you. But easily accessible teachings around quantum physics and how that intersects with the spiritual wisdom traditions as well. So last week we had a really dynamic group of about 30 plus people, and we move into small groups together. So we invite you to join us. That's at 7 o'clock Pacific time here in Canada. We're starting tomorrow a daily meditation at 7 a.m. to 7:30. That's a long meditation. 7 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. Each day, Monday through Saturday. The ways that you can find out, we have a few more program offerings I'm going to share, but the ways you can find out about this is to write to unityvanoffice@gmail.com. It's office@gmail.com. And in the subject line, just write sign me up. And that will get you on the newsletter or tell you about our courses or whatever's happening this Sunday service. The other one class right now that's going on is a study of the Course in Miracles that is led by Margaret and Marianne and Fern, who are leaders there. And they had a fabulous 2 meetings last week. That meets on Tuesday and Thursdays. Tuesdays 1 to 3 p.m. Pacific time, and Thursdays 7 to 9 p.m. And if you are in other time zones, we invite you to join any of these classes. We're going to have other things coming up as well. And they're all by donation. If you can contribute, that's wonderful. If you can't, then just come any way you contribute in your own presence. And we enjoy that and love that. Again, just write to unityvanoffice@gmail and we'll get you set up with wherever you want to go. So let's see, where are we going to go now? I think we're going to go into, maybe we can have Karambu say hello to the folks, and then we'll move into our meditation.
Yeah, maybe just a brief outline of the order of service, particularly for those of you who are new to this particular service. We will, in a moment after Karambu says hello, we'll move into a short period of a kind of guided meditation briefly for about 10 minutes. And that's something that we normally do. And then after that, we will move into introducing a Karambu. Maybe we should do that then.
Okay, that sounds good.
Well, we'll introduce Karambu and speak about who she is in the world, and then we'll hear her talk. And then after that, we will give further instructions about where we go from there.
That sounds great. Just let's take a moment to just center ourselves a little bit, and then we'll move into the meditation as well. Taking a breath in. We just gave a lot of information there. So just moving into this time together and really a time when we're working to connect, when we have to physically take some distance from one another for our health and well-being, just to know that everything we're offering here is in the spirit of connection and in the spirit of our interconnection and our interdependence upon one another.
So we invite you now to take a couple of deep breaths to really center yourself, perhaps gently closing your eyes, or if that doesn't feel comfortable, just to have a soft gaze to the floor. And just take a couple of deep breaths, inhaling and exhaling, feeling your body relax and center on the exhale. And again, on the in-breath, full breath. And releasing, relaxing on the exhale. And one more full breath. And releasing, letting go on the exhale. And just feeling your body settling into the chair or the floor, however you're sitting, feeling your body supported. And just allowing your awareness for a moment to unhook from thinking and descend below the neck into the heart area. Just feeling your heart, connecting to your heart. Becoming aware that the heart is also the gateway to the infinite. In this time of such great uncertainty and really unknown, it's important for us to develop a kind of new relationship with the unknown. And although we often live our lives as if we have a pretty good grip on reality, the truth is that there is a vast unknown mystery, the ultimate nature of reality, the source from which we came. Regardless of what we call it or how we refer to it, there is this vast, timeless essence, which is ultimately indestructible and the very ground of our being. So let us, in these few minutes, just with our hearts alone, intend to connect, to reach out to this supreme presence or being, regardless of how you conceptualize it, regardless of what name you might give to it. For prayer and meditation are just practices of connecting to this infinite source, the source from which we came and to which we will return, and in which we can live moment to moment, if we but make that intention from the heart. So let us do that now. Remembering that this mystery, this source, some call it God, others have other names for it, but this source responds more to the sincerity of your heart and your prayer and your aspiration, more than the form of your prayer. So a sincere prayer pierces the heart of God, regardless of the form. And in this moment, let us move into just silent prayer, silent presence. For silence speaks with unceasing eloquence. As Ramana Maharshi said, if we will but listen. So in this moment now, just allow yourself to hold your awareness in the depths of your heart for just a few minutes and listen to the silent spaces, the silent depths within. Just let them pass, maintaining your focus on the heart area and this deep listening inwardly as we move into the stillness of the heart. From this place of silence, just saying a short prayer. May I be peaceful. May I be healthy. May I be protected. May I be joyous and centered. And then saying a similar prayer, just holding that prayer in your hearts for your loved ones and your family, and for our larger communities.
And holding a place in our hearts for all the service workers around the world, all the people in the hospitals, the nurses, the doctors, the techs, everyone that is giving so much of their time, their energy, risking their own lives to keep everyone healthy and well. And the service workers who are making sure our groceries are stocked, providing food and necessary items for our well-being and our health, just holding them in your hearts.
May they be protected. May they be healthy. May they be peaceful. May they be joyous and filled with light.
May it be so. We
Amen.
invite you to open your eyes and welcome each other again with your eyes and your presence here at this time. We want to share with you the little bit about Dr. Karambu Ringera from Meru, Kenya, which is several hours by drive outside of Nairobi. And she was going to be with us in person here at Unity this Sunday. But like so many other people, she had to go home so that she didn't end up being a Canadian because she might have gotten stuck here. And so she's here, and Karambu, we'd love for you in a moment to just briefly, for a moment, say hello to everyone. And then we're going to move into a video that we actually pre-recorded for you to watch of Karambu. And the reason why is because often the wind does not blow in the positive favor of internet connection in Meru. And so we're thankful that Karambu's with us right now. And at the same time, we were worried about the internet connection and that she may not have been able to be heard the whole time. So Karambu, if you want to unmute yourself and just give a greeting to everyone, and then we'll do a little introduction.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you so much for tuning in to this inspirational talk. I like the words of Namaste. There's a place in each one of us where the universe resides. And that place is one of love, peace, and light. And when each one of us is in that place of love, peace, light, there's only one. There's only one of us. And in that unity, I join all of us this morning, evening, to share a message that has been in my heart, lessons learned from working with people in my community. And I invite you to listen with an open heart and an open mind. And although I'm speaking about a specific group of people, it is true for all of us. The invitation to reclaim those things that stop us, to reclaim our power so that we can be the best that we are meant to be. Remember, the love, the peace, the clarity that each one of us is looking for is also looking for us. Namaste. Remember your love. Thank you for being here and welcome. Karibu sana. God bless.
Thank you, Karambu. And just by way of brief introduction, Karambu Ringera is a tireless servant of peace in the world and a pioneering community leader in her native Kenya and also in her international leadership trainings that she leads around the world. She's the founder of international peace initiatives and also of the Tiriji community in Meru, Kenya, which is a community that has over 70 orphan children, most of whom lost their parents to AIDS. And that center has become a major training center also for ecology and for activism in local rural Kenya. So it's a very inspiring and pioneering project. Karambu supports initiatives that mitigate the effects of war, disease, poverty, and racial and social discrimination in Kenya and in Africa more broadly. She's also been a facilitator of the gender equity and reconciliation work with us since 2006. So she's been long time involved in our work. Dr. Karambu, as she calls herself, also ran for Kenyan Parliament in 2007, one of the very few women to do so. And she has won many awards over the years. Just to mention a couple of them, the 2015 Lifetime Achievement Award from the University of Denver, the 2012 African Achievers Award from the United Kingdom. Karambu is also a Cordis Social Entrepreneurs Fellow and a Next Generation Leader Fellow of the McCain Institute for International Leadership. So without further ado, I think we will now move to the talk that Karambu has prepared for this morning, and please enjoy.
And I'll just give a few more instructions. First of all, we will, after the talk, after the video plays, we will come back together here on Zoom and do some little small group of meet and greet. We'll also be able to hopefully hear from Karambu again briefly in those groups. And then we'll close our service for this time. If you'd like to stay on after the service on Zoom, then we will have a connection time for about 30 minutes.
A virtual coffee hour.
Yeah, you'll have to get your coffee and come, or tea. And hopefully Karambu's still with us there. Thank you, Karambu, because it is nighttime in some areas of the country. So, I mean, the world. And I know it is there. That's about 9:30 for you p.m. So thank you for anyone joining in the evening time. Also, the YouTube folks are going to leave the Zoom part of this right now if you're on YouTube Live. And there's a link to click under your YouTube video there that is the link for the video. And once you click that, you'll be taken to that video to watch, but you won't be joining us again because Zoom is the interactive part. So we wish you well and hope you'll join on Zoom at some point. You're welcome to come that way at any point. Just a reminder, if you want more information about our programs or to get our newsletter or whatever, unityvanoffice@gmail.com. Sign me up is the way to get that. And then just real briefly, if you are so inspired and moved by what is offered here, then we welcome any donations that you can offer to help sustain us and keep the energy flowing through this community and through the beautiful offerings like we're going to hear from Karambu today. And those links are also in your boxes there on YouTube Live. And then I think Garrett or Jennifer are going to put it in the chat here. So without further ado, as you said, we will move to the video now. So enjoy.
Good morning, everyone. I am going to teach you one thing in Kiswahili so that if you don't remember anything else that I say this morning to you, at least you will remember how to say hello in Swahili. So when I say habari yako, you're going to say, to answer back, mzuri sana. Okay? Okay. Habari yako. I'm assuming you said mzuri sana. Okay. And so you say habari yako to me, and then I will say mzuri sana. So tell me, habari yako. Mzuri sana. Thank you. So you just greeted me in Kiswahili, and I greeted you in Kiswahili. Habari yako is how are you? And mzuri sana means I'm very good. When I first came to your country, Canada, and I came through my port of entry, they said that I had something in the way that I spoke. And I said, what is it? And they said they call it an accent. I said, oh, so what's an accent? So they explained to me what an accent is. And I said, oh, if that is what an accent is, to my ears, you too have an accent. So accents are a gift of diversity that we are given so that we can listen a little more intently to each other. I don't pronounce some words the way you do. So I invite you to listen a little more intently to what I say so that we can be together on this journey of this service this morning. My name is Dr. Karambu Ringera, and I come from Kenya. I thank you for having me this morning. And thank you, Dr. Will and Reverend Cynthia, for having me this morning. It's my pleasure and a blessing to be with you this morning. And I am going to share a little bit about how my relationship with Will and Cynthia started 15 years ago when we first did a gender equity and reconciliation event in South Africa. And actually, when I got to South Africa, they said that I didn't have a visa to enter South Africa. So I had to go back again to Kenya and get my visa and come back. That's a long story. But I just want you to understand we've come a long ways and we've traveled a soul journey. You know, they're like my soul journals. And we've done amazing things, both within the church and also within the gender equity and reconciliation work that we've done together. And I want us to understand that this journey has been an incredibly enriching one for me, because it is through our partnership that I understood what ministry is all about. Of course, I had an idea about what it was. And I understood that church is not a building. Church is the community, working within the community. And so this morning, to be with you, their sojourners on this journey, at this time, I'm just grateful. And so my prayer is that as we continue on this journey, you will understand more from their sharing and my sharing this morning, the work that I have done in Kenya with working with women living with HIV and AIDS, children who've lost their parents to HIV and AIDS, and an amazing gender equity and reconciliation process in South Africa, in Kenya, and also some work in leadership that is based on really people knowing who they are so that they can step into their highest self. I am going to share some slides with you. And these slides that will help me tell my story. I will share with you an African saying that goes like this. In the race between the lion and the deer mostly wins the race because the deer runs for life, the lion for food. Purpose is more important than need. I said I come from Kenya. I come from the middle part of Kenya called Meru. It's on the eastern slopes of Mount Kenya. It's beautiful. If you ever want to come to Africa, Kenya is the place to begin. Kenya is a place to come to. And Kenya is on the eastern part of Africa. And if you look at the eastern coast of Africa, it looks like the profile of a face. And Kenya is the eye. I say, Kenya is the eye of Africa. Africa is my sanctuary. That's where I like to do my Ubuntu, to live my calling. So my calling is with an organization that I started that is known as International Peace Initiatives. And International Peace Initiatives is based in Kenya, but we work around the world. And my focus is women living with HIV and AIDS, infected or affected by the disease, by violence, or by poverty in their lives, and children who've lost their parents because of HIV and AIDS. At International Peace Initiatives, we say that peace is not merely the absence of war. It is when people have access to the resources that enable them to meet their basic needs. This is Lent season, and I have been reflecting on my life, my calling, and my work up to this point. And my question to you as I share this journey with you is, what's your new story this season? Lent is a time of reflection as we prepare to celebrate the rising from the dead of the Lord Jesus Christ. And so what my work has taught me is what I call regeneration, reclaiming mind and heart sets. I work with so-called marginalized women and children, but really they are the ones who have taught me the sharing that I'm going to do with you this morning. And so regeneration for me implies not merely an addition of certain gifts or graces, a strengthening of certain innate good qualities, but a radical change, which revolutionizes my whole being, contradicts and overcomes my old fallen nature, and places my spiritual center of gravity wholly outside of my own powers in the realm of God's position, where I am reminded who I am. I feel like in the world today, the human race has forgotten who we are. For me, I see myself as whole, complete, pure, and enough. I am created whole and enough, and I know who I am, love and light, and that's who I be in this life. A radical change. a radical change embedded in a radical faith as the one embedded in Hebrews 11:1. Faith, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. This is an amazing verse for me in my life because I have learned to feel things that I hope for, that I dream for my work, for the women and the children that I work with. Evidence of things not seen. It is not there in the human eye, but I believe I have it because the Bible also teaches me when I pray, I believe I have it. It doesn't say I will, it says I believe I have it. Radical faith. Or as in the promise in Jeremiah 29:11, I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. Plans of welfare and not of evil, to give me a future and a hope. At the gate of the children's home in Kenya, these are the words that are on the gate, Jeremiah 29:11. And I want everybody, including myself and the children, to remember that I'm not in this world just at large, that there's a plan and a purpose for which I am here. And until I know who I am, how will I know my purpose? How will I know why I am here? And so these two verses have been the foundation of the amazing work that we have done, in Kenya. I say sometimes I feel like we've done work that some people do in a lifetime, we've done in 14 years. So these verses are very important for me because I have seen things that I prayed for, I envisioned, and I've seen them come to life. I work with women living with HIV and AIDS. And I am saying that it is these women who have taught me the message that I'm going to share with you today. And when I met these women, they said to me, we want you to take our children when we die. And I said, you're not God. Who says you're going to die? And so the idea of building a children's home came to my mind so that at least the women would be at peace, I thought. So I said to them, I don't know how to help people. How do you want to help yourselves? Go to your community and look for land so that we can build a children's home for the children if you die. And so we went to the community, and this is the piece of land they gave us, a piece of wasteland. These are rocks you're seeing. We would carry soil to put in the holes where we planted fruit trees and fences and things like that. And I felt like the community was saying, take this piece of land, wasteland, for your wasteland, women living with HIV and AIDS, and wasteland orphans. Because a lot of people thought that if babies, kids lost their parents to HIV and AIDS, they too had it. So my work has taught me that we have a variety of wastelands in our communities, environmental, human, societal. But I say the worst form of wasteland is the mental one, where we live in a box and we don't want to get out of those boxes to see what's happening around us. So this is a piece of wasteland that we got. And today it looks like this. It is a lush green space. How did it become so? That's an example of a woman, a widow, who's lost her husband, and those are her 3 kids. And the relatives are trying to demolish her house so that they can take the land, so she can live and they can take the land. And that woman, when we met, was helpless, thought she was helpless and hopeless. And today, she has become a business person. And as a group, they have opened a business, a shop. How did that come to be? Lessons I've learned from bringing up Newton and working with the mothers or women living with HIV and AIDS is that the old way of thinking that I was told and taught in school wasn't working. My work has taught me that we need to get out of that modernistic linear way of thinking about supporting people who need our support. I don't talk about helping children or women. I talk about working with them. I have to work with the child within the context that that child is growing. A drunken parent, the siblings, the school, his playmates, the outer community, and the church. Because if all of us do not work as the context within which Newton is growing, and we say we are paying school fees for him, he is not going to finish school, and then he's going to be the so-called dropout, and then we blame the child instead of blaming ourselves as a system, as a society, because we did not recognize the context within which this child is growing. And so what then I created was something to help me think through how I am going to do this dance. And I called it the New Story Dialogue. And it begins from the top by asking the question, who am I? Now remember, I am talking to women who think they should have died yesterday, even though they are alive today. I'm also asking this of myself. As I work with these women and the children, who am I? And who am I are not the things that I do. I am a professor. I taught at the university. I am a mother. I am an aunt. I am a lot of things. I'm a facilitator. I am, but that's not who I am. Those are the things that I do. So when I peeled all the layers of the societal markings and namings of who I am, when I peeled all those layers of who I am, when I peeled the layers of who I say I am from what people say I am, and when all those layers were gone, I found nothing at the bottom. At that place, I started renaming myself as who I am. So today, if you ask me who I am, I will say I am love and light. For example, when I started the children's home and I completed building it, I had gone this loop of who am I? What stops me in building this home? And there were so many things that were in my way, including the community, including people, including so many things, or the rules and regulations. And when the home was built and we brought the first 10 kids, I had to begin again. Now with 10 kids, I had never brought up more than one kid. Who am I? What stops me? And this New Story Dialogue is continuous. It is continuous. I call it the spiral of learning, unlearning, relearning, and growth. The spiral of learning, unlearning, relearning, and growth. Because in every phase of our lives, we have to learn new things as we unlearn things that are not serving us and relearn new things, just like the coronavirus is teaching us at this moment. I want to share a little bit about how the gender equity and reconciliation work has transformed patriarchy in my society. I mean, in Kenya, I really come from an ethnic group, the Meru, and it's very patriarchal. And it's not the only one that is patriarchal. Most of our ethnic groups are very patriarchal. And when we started the Gender Equity and Reconciliation workshop, I had no idea how it was going to impact, especially men who benefit from the privileges that patriarchy endows men in my community with. And during our very first workshop, there was a girl who really shared a very heart-rending story about how after her father died, the uncles mistreated the mother and the family as a whole. And it was really a very painful story. And after she spoke, this man just woke up and went and knelt in front of her and said, as a man, I want to apologize on behalf of your uncles and all the men that have hurt your family. I mean, the story was so intense that it was as intense that this man, just stepped up and wasn't speaking as he was standing over her, but actually knelt down. And that girl's life changed because she saw a man who was not like the uncles. And she actually later on shared with me, because I followed up and asked her about how she was now and all that stuff. And she told me that incident changed her perception of men. She went and shared with her mother. She actually started a hope program within her village with women and things like that. It changed her life. But that man also, because he's still in my circles, it also changed his life because he treats his wife like, amazingly. And we still talk about that incident and how now he has become a person who speaks in his community about the things that he learned during that workshop. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is that it has really changed a lot of people's understanding of themselves and the systems within which we live, especially patriarchy, and also awakened the importance of each one of us, not just learning these things and then going and sitting down, keeping it to ourselves, but bringing it home to our own children, to our own family members. And it is really changing the fabric of families in our community. Our socialization is a process of programming, of conditioning. We think we are living our lives, but we are living someone else's story. That is why that conversation about, creating my own story, my own new story is critical. Because if I don't have a new story for myself, I'm going to be living someone else's story. And so what this work has taught me is to really be very critical and to redefine terms. When you tell me that me as a woman, I cannot do certain things, I have to say according to who? Because insofar as I'm concerned, I know who I am and I know what I can do. Redefine terms that make us less. Redefine terms that tell us we are not good enough. Redefine terms that limit us. We also need to de-stereotype myths. Myths have been created by human beings like us. We need to de-stereotype them and decide what defines who I am. Not other people's stories, but my story, according to God's plan for my life. And then a positive mindset. The template of the world today, especially the so-called, developed world, is when you look at a glass full of water, half full of water, we see it is half empty. I choose always to look at the better side of things. Like if a woman comes to me and they're telling me they're HIV positive, they think they're going to die, I tell them why they're actually going to live. If a kid comes and tells me, oh, my parents have died, I tell them why they are blessed. and what this bad thing is actually inviting into their lives. A positive mindset is very important. And furthermore, and negativity then breeds fear. And what I've learned in my work is that my foundation is love. Love, because the opposite of fear is not fearlessness, it is love. A love that enables me to see myself in another and to recognize that our fates are intricately linked. Love that tells me that the other is me. An authentic heart set. You know, we do a lot of things in this life, but we never ask what informs the doing. We've been taught to think, to be logical, and to do things, to act. But no one talks about the beingness that informs the thinking and the doing. An authentic heart set, for me, has brought me to a place of, you know, like being still. The Bible tells us, be still and know I am God. Being still and looking at what is informing my doing all this stuff. And I also recognize that there are a lot of people who have a lot of things in life. But if life is about me, I, and myself, I see a lot of people who are not happy, even though they have all these things. And in my life, I realized that service above self really is the pathway to joyfulness and happiness, service with other people. And so what the work also has taught me is the importance of co-creation. I work with others. I don't work alone. And that is regeneration for me, a space where we are creating a new space where it's neither that one's, it's nor my, you know, stuff or story that I bring, but together we bring something new. We create something new that enables us to move forward in our lives. And this enables us to create our new story. There's no need to fear. When there's love, it is enough. No need to fear. So I have learned to let go, because death is life's beginning. It's about letting go, because the tragedy is not lost in death. It is what is dead within while I'm still alive, separated. The conditioning that we've learned is about separation. Even when God has said, no matter the valley of darkness in which we get into, she will be with us in it. We don't remember that. But I hope in our fellowship today, in our sharing today, we will awaken to there's no separation ever. There's no separation, because when we love from our hearts, we know that we can never be separate from others. For transformation through regeneration is a process. It takes patience, perseverance, persistence, and presence. Life is a process. It takes time. We need to be still and wait upon the Lord. In this knowing, therefore, when the women, the children, and even myself understood who we are and what we are about, the question is, whose story shall be told and by who? For until the lion learns to write, every story will glorify the hunter. What's my story? Who shall tell it? When I know who I am, my roots are deep and there's no need to fear the wind. grounded in who I know I am. In the knowing placed within me by my Creator. My roots run deep, and there's no need to fear the wind. There's an African proverb that says, judge each day not by the harvest, but the seeds that I plant, that you plant. What are the seeds that we are planting every day, even in the midst of strange times? What are the seeds that you are planting as we speak with each other, as we speak to ourselves in these interesting times? So I've learned that in my new story, as a change maker, my work is not to get people to believe in me. Rather, I work to find ways to get people to believe in themselves. Because I know from learning from the women and the children, when people believe in themselves, they are unstoppable. I say that the tragedy of a people is when they don't know who they are. God created us amazing. God's essence lives in me. I can do anything that I choose to do because I have everything that I need within me. And that is my work. When I say I'm love and light, it's so that I can hold a space for someone else to see their love and light, so that they can see their power. In my journey, there have been outcomes, but for me, regeneration is really an igniting of a fire within the people that I work with, rather than a pile of results. But there are results. But really for me, the amazingness of the work is the fire that has been lit in the kids that I've worked with. Kids who are orphans actually starting new initiatives of giving back. And when one of these kids told me, I may be an orphan, but I'm not the one who is dead, I was like, oh my gosh, he gets it. That's our work. I may be an orphan, but I'm not the one who is dead. Each one of us has what it takes, no matter our circumstances. When we learn to reclaim these spaces, there's nothing that is not possible. Because we are not doing these things by our own power. We know that within us lives a power that is beyond all others. And so what I've learned in my work is that hope is not something that comes from outside. It is neither what we see in evidence nor what we hear in action. Rather, it is who we become in being. What informs the thinking and the actions. It's who we become when we stand shoulder to shoulder with another. I love Romans 13:10. It talks about love. But the fundamental line in that verse is, to love is to obey the whole law. To love is to obey the whole law. So the invitation today is really not to go out to seek love. We are love. We are light. Rather, it is to seek and find all the ways in which we have blocked love within us, and to choose to be love, to reclaim it. My bumper sticker is my kids celebrating their birthdays, laughing like, the world belongs to them. Telling the world, this is who I am becoming. I'm not defined by my circumstances. I may be an orphan, but I'm not the one who is dead. This is who I am becoming. This is my new story. And I pray that each one of us today, in spite of whatever is going on in our lives, to look at the faces of these kids. That smile is real. People tell me, your kids seem happy. I say, they don't seem, they are happy. It's not about our circumstances. It's about love, and you have that love within you. God bless you. Those smiling faces of my kids, I invite you to come and be with them, to come and learn from them, and to come and gift them with your love and light. So I invite each one of you. Will and Cynthia can work with you to organize to come to Kidoka, Amani Children's Home, a project of International Peace Initiatives. And please do come, I'm serious. Please do come and let's do the dance together so that we can transform these unlikely spaces together. Thank you.
Beautiful, Karambu.
Thank you so much, Karambu, for that beautiful message.
We're just so moved, and I'm sure all of you are, by all that Dr. Karambu Ringera had to offer us. And what a powerful message anytime, but especially at this time. Live in love and not fear.
And regardless of our circumstances, if we come from that place of love within, then as she said, we are unstoppable. And let's really hold that conviction as we move into this time of uncertainty. And Karambu, we are so honored to have you give this talk today. And we are creating a collaborative project with International Peace Initiatives and Unity of Vancouver. And Karambu is serious about inviting you all to come, and we'll have her come on in a moment. But just so you know that we are intending to create a sister relationship with Karambu and the Unity of Vancouver. And there will be opportunities for different kinds of exchange programs with her community in Meru and our community here in Vancouver, as well as some organized tours once it becomes possible to travel again, so that any of you here in Vancouver who would like to visit Karambu, that will be a possibility to visit her community and experience those beautiful smiles of those children for yourselves.
Or anyone, wherever you are, can go and visit, as she said. And Karambu, I see you're back on video, and so just want to invite you to say just a couple of words, if you'd like, unmute yourself. And I just, as you're doing that, I want to bring forward the beautiful message and teaching you gave of knowing who am I, which of course comes from the great sage, Hindu sage, Ramana Maharshi. And it is the question that he says to meditate on always. And we can't do anything. And I mean, we can, but we do it even more powerfully when we know who we are and how to be in service to others. So Karambu, can you unmute yourself and share just a couple words as we come to closure here?
Thank you, everyone. I cry at my own preaching. Well, thank you so much for sharing this moment with me. And the only thing I can say is that even listening to myself and being in self-quarantine since I came home, I'm just reminded more about the importance of love and knowing who I am, because everybody's asking me, how are you going to survive 14 days on your own? And I'm like, I'm enough. There's a lot of things that I can do. And call friends, look for things that we can do together online and things like that. So even as we are all on self-quarantine, just remember, we are never alone, never ever alone. God is within me. We have friends and family that we can call, that we can speak with, like we are speaking this morning. I don't feel alone. And there's a lot of things that I'm going to do, mainly reflection, meditation, and writing while I'm in this self-quarantine. God bless you, and may you always be reminded you're never alone, and love is all there is. God bless you.
Thank you, Karambu. Beautiful.
Thank you, Karambu. What a great joy to have you as our guest speaker today. We're sorry you weren't able to come and present the workshops you were going to lead yesterday in person at our center, but that will happen in the future. We will bring you here. And please stay tuned, everyone, as we develop this collaborative project with Turaji and International Peace Initiatives with Karambu.
Unity of Vancouver, all of us together. So it's important that as we're going through locally, whatever's happening in our own communities, wherever you are, we know we're not in a vacuum. That what happens here in our own lives is interconnected with what's happening around the world, wherever we are. And right now we're connected with Kenya and Meru and Karambu and her community. Faith, I see you there. I don't know, Faith, where you are, but I wonder, I think you might, you look like you're new to our community. So maybe you're in Kenya too, or somewhere else in the Bay Area, US, or wherever, but we welcome you and all the new people here on the call today. Again, after our service, which is ending in just a few minutes, if you want to stay on, then please do, and we'll have some engagement in some small groups and some time together just to share. As we said, our in-person programs are suspended right now, and at the same time, we have to keep things going and keep things, the building going and our staff going, and our time together, right, like this still takes financial support. We ask at this time and give the opportunity, if you're so inspired by what's been shared and inspired by this, you know, just being in community in this way, we invite you to share some of your monetary resources, which is essentially needed right now. I think that in the little chat box, Jennifer has put up how you can donate. And there's ways through PayPal and Tithely, and both of those take only a couple minutes. You do need to click on to quickly set up an account, and then it takes you right into easily donating. You can also send a check in by mail if you're here in the Vancouver area. Any amount is welcomed warmly and goes directly into serving this community. And so let's just take a moment, as we do in our services, and I just invite you to put your hands on your heart, and for whatever you have brought, whatever you can give, either monetarily or your pure presence, if you are sitting there at your home and you know the words that we use at Unity, then please say them, even though you're muted, say them now. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so we appreciate all that you are able to give in whatever way. We also want to know that we are here to support you. And one way of support is through our prayer chaplains, who many of them are on the call today. And we have an amazing group of prayer chaplains. Right now, how you can, if you have prayer requests, you can send your prayer requests into Unity Van Office at Gmail. And on your subject head, put prayer request. It's confidential. It will go into the silent prayers that our prayer chaplains at Unity Vancouver hold and pray every day with your prayers over the 30 days forward. And so knowing whatever you're going through is supported in that way. You can also, there's Silent Unity, which is a 24-hour, 7 days a week prayer line. The number to call there for support, and you can pick the person on the other end who will talk with you and pray with you, is 1-800-669-7729. Maybe Jennifer or Garrett, if you could put that in the chat box too. 1-800-669-7729. If you have any questions about the prayer, our prayer chaplains, or any support questions or programs, please just write to unityvanoffice@gmail.com, and you will be warmly welcomed by Jennifer Mackey, who's right there. You want to wave, Jennifer? There she is, if you see her. And we're here to support you. We know it's a time where people can feel isolated, so we're doing all we can to connect everyone in our hearts.
And we have, before we do our prayer for protection, let us just take a moment of silence together and in prayer and drawing on those beautiful scriptures that Karambu brought to us today.
So we invite you to close your eyes, or
Just
have a
closing
soft
your eyes
eyes.
for just a moment, recognizing that we are in this remarkable and unprecedented time, but remembering the words of Jeremiah. Plans I have for you, plans of welfare, not evil, a future and a hope. So let us just connect with that, connecting into that future of hope, remembering that faith is the evidence of things not seen. Let us maintain that faith and that trust of a future and a hope of welfare in this period and in the uncertain waters ahead.
And with that, we'll say our prayer for protection, and you can say it in your homes there. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And now we invite you again to place your hands on your heart, and we're going to mute ourselves, but I saw this beautiful meme on Facebook saying, and we posted on our Facebook page, about how to get ready for online service. So as we close our service, we're going to do the peace song, and we invite you, we'll have music playing, and if you know it, then we invite you to just sing as loudly as you want in your own home. Just sing it out, sing it to each other, sing it to the divine, sing it to the universe, and know that there is healing happening right here, right now. We are well, all is well, all things are well and will be well in this world and in our lives.
And after the peace song, stay on if you would like to be part of the virtual coffee hour, and then we will move into small groups, and we'll give the instructions for that in just a moment after the peace song.
So here comes the music. Get ready.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as Creator, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you all for that wonderful online choir. I think we should take this online choir out on the cyberweb.
Yeah, beautiful.